friends, welcome back to the channel of your own, Constitution for Life. Friends, after a very long time, we are meeting here on this YouTube channel. But today, I am here with a new concept. Not from the Indian Constitution, but something related to it. And just trust me, it's very interesting. And the term is the Indian Penal Code of 1860. Yes, in this video and the further videos of our YouTube channel, we are going to discuss the sections of Indian Penal Code in a very thorough manner. So let's get started. Before starting this first section of the Indian Penal Code, for the first time when I started studying the Indian Penal Code, many questions were raised in my mind. Who enacted the IPC? Who drafted the Indian Penal Code? When the Indian Penal Code was enacted, what was the reason behind the enactment or the enforcement of the Indian Penal Code? And I am going to discuss all these type of different questions relating to IPC in this video. We are going to discuss about the preamble of the Indian Penal Code, the current status of Indian Penal Code, the history behind the enforcement of the Indian Penal Code. All these questions are going to be discussed in this video. So let's get started. So friends, the first question is, what was the need to enact the IPC? As we all know, in 1818, when the Britishers took over the Maratha Empire, the administration of the whole Indian territory went into the hands of Britishers. It was the job of Britishers to maintain the administration of justice in India. But actual state of legal system in India was very drastically affected, because in Maratha Empire the legal system was different. In Mughal Empire the legal system was quite different, and in also some other empires in the Indian territory the legal system there was quite different from each other, and that's why the legal system in overall India was drastically affected. This ununiformity in the legal system was the problem in front of the Britishers. Also, there was a too much discrimination in the legal system of India. Means, if any offense is committed by any person of the so-called higher castes, he was liable for a different punishment. And if the same offense is committed by the person of so-called lower caste, he was liable for a different punishment. So this type of discrimination of justice was also a main problem. And that's why, to deal with these main problems, the Britishers thought that the India must be provided with a general penal code. And that's why in 1833, under the Government of India Act 1833, the Governor General of India, Lord William Bentinck, appointed the Indian Law Commissioners. Now, what was the duty of these law commissioners? The law commissioners were appointed to inquire into the existing conditions of legal system in India. And that's why in 1834, the first Law Commission of India was established under the presidentship of Lord Babington Macaulay, the first Law Commission of India, who submitted its report on 14th October 1837. After that, this report was carefully scrutinized. This report was carefully discussed by hundreds of jurists and legal professionals in India. This whole procedure took near about 7 to 8 years. And meanwhile, the term of the first Law Commission was expired, and that's why in 1845, with the same officials under the presidentship of Lord Babington Macaulay, the second Law Commission of India was established. Now this second Law Commission of India submitted its report in two parts, one in 1846 and second in 1847. Now this draft of Indian Penal Code was thoroughly discussed, was thoroughly scrutinized by the members of the Governors General Council. And after this scrutiny and the thorough discussion, this draft of Indian Penal Code was then presented to the Legislative Council of India in 1856. In Legislative Council, the thorough discussion took place on each and every section in the Indian Penal Code, and from onwards, it was presented to the Governor General of India for his assent. And finally, on 6th October 1860, the Governor General of India at that time, Lord Canning, gave his assent to the Indian Penal Code, and the Indian Penal Code was enacted. But the date of enforcement of the Indian Penal Code is the 1st of Jan 1833. According to Government of India Act 1833, Indian law commissioners were appointed. In 1834, the first Law Commission of India was appointed. The Law Commission of India submitted its report on the 14th October 1837. Then second Law Commission was appointed on 1845. This Law Commission submitted its report in two parts, one in 1846 and second in 1847. Then further, in 1856, the draft of Indian Penal Code, after a very careful scrutiny and deep discussions, was presented to the Legislative Council of India in 1856. Then it was given assent by the Governor General of India on 6th October 1860, and the date of enforcement of Indian Penal Code in the territory of India was actually 1st of January 1860. Now friends, discussing about the preamble of the Indian Penal Code. The preamble of the Indian Penal Code is a very short one, but it is crystal clear. It tells us firmly that the motive of Indian Penal Code is to provide a general penal code for India. Whereas it is expedient to provide a general penal code for India, it is enacted as follows. Means the motive of Indian Penal Code is described, is mentioned in the preamble of Indian Penal Code. Very crystal clear. And from thereover, the section first of the Indian Penal Code starts. When initially the Indian Penal Code was enacted, there were 511 sections in the Indian Penal Code, comprised of 23 chapters. But afterwards, as the time passed, many changes took place in the Indian Penal Code. 59 new sections were inserted in the Indian Penal Code newly, and new 3 chapters were inserted in the Indian Penal Code, namely chapter 5A, chapter 9A and chapter 20A. Also, with reference to that, 21 sections were repealed from the Indian Penal Code, whereas no chapter was removed from the IPC. And now at present, there are 549 sections in the IPC, comprised of 26 chapters, which are all wrapped up in 511 sections and 23 chapters. So this is for today. If there are any queries regarding the video, comment me in the chat box, and don't forget to like, share and comment. So see you in the next session. Till then, Jai Hind.